theme 2. This is one of the 3 themes provided by the board of Oxford AQA as a second language. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, how have you had a neighbor in the past? Well, I remember once one of the neighbors, her name was Rose. She lived alone with her puppy and wanted to travel for 3 weeks to Egypt to finish some legal documents and run some errands in the time around Christmas. So she asked if her dog could stay at her house for that period, and I offered to take good care of her dog while she was gone. I bathed him, fed him, played with him, and even offered to take pictures of him while she was gone because she missed him. I remember she asked for another favor. She left her house keys with my father, as her plants need to be watered daily. So I offered my cooperation to help her, and she appreciated it. So for every day after school, I'd pass by her apartment and water her plants to ensure everything is okay. Oh, this question, I remember they told us to write about the place that we like visiting. So I wrote about the open air mall. It's a mall in Egypt. So this is what I wrote. From its name, it's a mall, but unlike other malls, instead of being air conditioned and indoors, it's mainly outdoors. This place has many areas to hang out with friends because of its beautifully designed outdoor spaces with vibrant atmosphere. A sprawling green space that offers a peaceful retreat from the hustle and bustle of the city. In the middle of the mall, there are green, spacious areas with artificial lakes, rivers, and fountains, some artistic water fountains and waterfalls, and plenty of benches, seating areas to enjoy the sceneries. There are green areas filled with trees, flowers, which would be perfect for having a picnic. Sometimes that I have seen quite often and took me by surprise is a dozen of picnic scenes set up, and it's really cute. In short, it's an amazing mall with a vibrant environment and vibe. Walking path and decorative landscape. Customers also enjoy fantastic live entertainment by talented musicians. This was the question. What is there for young people to do in your area? So I also wrote about the skate park, where there's a diverse range of ramps, rails, and obstacles that they can invent their skateboard tricks. Experiment with various styles. I love the club. It's big, clean, and you can literally do anything. And sometimes you can go there to study, others go to work or relax. Also, there's the library for reading books. There's a bazaar every weekend, and I told about the summer bazaar in Medinti, South Park. What are the main problems faced by homeless people? We tend to avoid eye contact with people who experience homelessness because we don't like the way it makes us feel, and we end up feeling bad for them. However, often avoid looking at people who are experiencing homelessness, which makes them feel alone and damages their self esteem. I think many people have the misunderstanding that most homeless people end up on the streets because some fatal mistake they did, like drugs, alcohol, or something villainous. But I think the people need to take a deeper insight into their lives of the homeless, as many of them are educated, normal people that just didn't have the right circumstances to thrive through life. The lack of affordable housing is particularly problematic, creating a gap between income and housing costs that many cannot bridge. Abused families, job circumstances, like what happened in the last pandemic, chronic disease. Many people tend to have the reflex of feeling bad, sorry, or disgusted towards them as they feel that they cannot help them. But a simple smile, glance to make them feel human again can make all the difference in their day. For instance, I was one of the people who used to feel that way. But one time I tried to help someone homeless. In the beginning, I was a bit hesitant. I was scared at how they looked, but when I handed them a warm meal prepared by my mother, they gave me a warm smile and appreciate. That felt wonderful. There are numerous ways to help the homeless, whether it's providing them by a warm meal, a simple conversation, or a greeting, a smile, jacket, socks, or a connection. What are the effects of global warming? Global warming is undoubtedly one of the most life-threatening problems of the 21st century, and it has to be tackled as soon as possible, as it could lead to further consequences that would rather be avoided. The media has not failed to educate us all on the causes of global warming and how it can lead to climate change, natural disaster, and future complications. I believe there has been a significant change in the last decade, as more and more countries are switching to cleaner, more renewable sources, such as solar, wind, and are relying less on carbon containing fuel technology and advancing and becoming cheaper. Through global warming is a huge problem that needs a lot of work to be prevented. There are small alterations that we can make in our daily life to help in any sort of way, like riding bikes or walking small distances. Poverty. So I remember I was wrote about this because we had multiple writing assignments on this. So education. Oh, how can we eradicate poverty? Let's talk about education. Education is the most significant poverty eradication tool. There's a recent study that shows if adults completed secondary education, we could get the global poverty rate by more cut the global poverty rate by more than half. The less you know, the more susceptible you are being taken advantage of. So, knowledge is the best defense. A quality education enables children to learn skills at a higher incomes, thus building successful life. One of the reasons for poverty is that poor people have a lot of children. This increases poverty rates exponentially, so when women are educated, they tend to have fewer children and have them later in life. This generally leads to better outcomes for both the mother and the kids, with safer pregnancy and healthier newborns. Right at the heart of the issue is poor education and poor skills who lack qualification to access jobs there in the community. Governments should prioritize investing in education, ensuring that all children have access to quality schooling. This includes providing adequate resources to school, training, and supporting teachers. Without education, people cannot make the most out of the resources they have because they fail to acquire the skills and knowledge needed to secure well paying jobs to break the cycle of poverty. The conflict, violent in areas like Syria, can grind society to a halt, destroying infrastructure and causing the people to flee in the 10th year of in the 10th year of conflict. The conflict has a huge impact on poverty. In times of war, everything stops. Productivity suffers as well as the country's GDP. It's very difficult to get things going again as foreign businesses and countries don't want to invest. Lack of amenities, lack of access to basic services, limited access to essential services such as healthcare, clean water, sanitation, and electricity can have people trapped in poverty. Without access to these basic services, individuals and communities face significant challenges in improving their living conditions and overall well being. So it's a cycle. One of the reasons why people can't escape poverty is because it's a cycle and it's very hard to get out of when you get caught inside. While poverty is often named a cause of hunger, hunger is also a cause of poverty. If a person does not eat enough food, they lack the strength and energy to work, and their immune system will weaken from the malnutrition, leaving them more susceptible to diseases and illness that prevent them from getting to work, which prevent them from succeeding in school or holding down a job. This indirectly affects the economy as less jobs are available and people have lower standards, thus less money flows around. Poor health, healthcare can limit productivity and earning potential and can limit the amount of people who work and the kind of job that people could work. Climate change. One World Bank estimates that climate change has the power to push more than 100 million people into poverty over the next decade. Whether it's through too little water, a drought, or flooding, too much water, it contributes to the cycle of poverty. The farming industry. Agriculture remains a primary source of income to many people in developing countries. And for many people, working in this sector suffer from poverty because they are primitive and less efficient techniques of production lack adequate inputs such as water fertilization, insecticides, pesticides, and quality seeds. As a result, labor and land productivity continue to low. Humanity solved the problem of agriculture poverty over a century ago. We just haven't delivered the solution to everybody yet. And when we make use of the land provided to us, there's more food, more income, the economy is flowing, since agriculture works everything. Improving agriculture productivity through investment in infrastructure, technology, and training can boost incomes and reduce rural poverty. The cycle. Family background and intergenerational poverty. Poverty can be passed down from one generation to the next due to limited access to resources, education, opportunities. Children born into impoverished families can face disadvantages that hinder their chances of breaking free from poverty. It's important to know that these causes interact and reinforce each other, creating a vicious cycle of poverty. Basically, it's a cycle, as the name vicious cycle implies. It doesn't really matter where it starts, it all leads to another. Let's start in developing countries where there is low income, so there is low demand for items as the standard of living decreases, so there's low investment, which leads to capital deficiency, thus low productivity, thus low income. But basically, poverty is a circle that leads to one another. So when there's high employment, causes low standard of living, so there's a low rate of economical growth. So there's low efficiency of people, low productivity, and low wages, low saving and investment, which leads to a low rate of economic growth. Economics. Poor governance and corruption. Weak governance, corruption, and inadequate building institutions can hinder economic development and exacerbate poverty. When resources are mismanaged or misappropriated, they fail to reach those in need, perpetuating poverty and inequality. As we know, economic factors such as economic recessions, inflation, and lack of economic diversification can lead to poverty. While economies struggle, jobs become scarce, wages stagnant, and poverty tends rates tend to rise. I know this is a lot, but was like general information because we had a deep discussion, and you could use these in your essay providing information which would be useful. Word hunger. Oh, this is also a big one, so let me read it really quick. Introduction. About the topic. It infuriates me when people claim that the main cause of famine or world hunger is that there's way too many of us, also known as overpopulation. The reasoning behind this statement is simply that the resources are limited, but on the other hand, I completely disagree. We already produce our own food around the world to make sure nobody ever goes hungry. And let me shock you, currently a third of the world's produced food goes to waste, and if we reduce the food waste just by 50%, we could put an end to world hunger. So, if we're capable of providing food to everyone on the planet, what stops us? And why are there still hungry people? And using this technology, it could take 1,000 years to develop 1 inch of soil, and we did it just in a matter of decades. In developing countries and developed countries. In developing countries, firstly, although in many countries for which hunger and starvation are major problems, a great deal of land is dedicated to agriculture, production of crops and livestock, and little of what produced goes towards feeding those people. So, where does this food go? Well, you ask, well, land receives no government funding or subsidies unless they are farming products for export. Although they could theoretically use their land to produce food for themselves and around them, without any government assistance, there is no financial incentive to do so. In many cases, the farmers would not be able to afford the necessary seeds, fertilizers, or machinery. This continues because of a combination of poor governmental organization and Western demand for cheap. So, in a way, prioritizing growing food for export over feeding their own people. Furthermore, political issues can further exacerbate this condition due to funding and lack of stability. Produce with fewer resources since they have poor harvesting techniques, with insufficient storage and infrastructure that often causes food to rot due to the temperature due to the drought to the temperatures. They can learn about farming as a system to double or even triple their food production. Maize. We have never had better tools than we have today. Genetic engineering can help with pests and reduce availability and quality of food. It helps saltwater intrusion from sea level rise. Investing in smallholder farms and providing subsidies so it becomes financially viable to grow crops for local consumption rather than deciding land purely for export. The availability of quality seeds and fertilizers is also a huge factor. If the necessary money is raised and spent appropriately, then some of the poorest farmers of the world will be able to greatly increase their food production by simply having affordable access to these essential farming ingredients. I truly believe that it would be possible to create a world which nobody was ever starving. We as a species could go through better land management, product distribution, and just throwing away less food. This could genuinely bring about the end to world hunger. The problem of food waste is in every stage, starting from the basics. Is, the problem is that they treat food as a commodity, an item whose only value is to make money and maximize profits. As they are driven by greed, they don't care as they waste food as long as they don't lose money. So if there's an increase in supply, then demand decreases, so they have to sell it at a cheaper price. So labor becomes too expensive to pick out, and the food, as a result, it rots. In developed countries, many problems is that we produce more than they need to. Data analysis can help to redistribute and redirect by optimizing and ordering, which reduces waste. Sensors have been developed to keep track of the shelf life. Plant-based coating has been developed to extend the shelf life of many fruits and vegetables. It is more technology like these can help. I know this is pretty lengthy, but this information is very valuable. Also, I got these mainly from TED Talks, internet, and a whole bunch of research. Next up is natural disasters. So, the effects of natural disasters, displacement and migration. Earthquake in Afghanistan in October caused 114,000 homeless people. This caused trauma, stress, and anxiety. Addressing these effects requires coordinated and integrated efforts from the government, international organizations, civil society, and the private sector to build more resilient and sustainable communities. For example, 700 people were killed in the earthquake in Chile, but over 150,000 in Haiti because they were not prepared. 2017 was an extreme active year for hurricanes, causing wind speed devastation, and it was also an expensive year for natural disaster, with total damages exceeding $300 billion. So, what can we do? Addressing these effects requires coordinated and integrated efforts from the government, international organizations, civil society, and the private sector to build more resilient and sustainable communities. For example, 700 people killed in Chile, but 150,000 because they were not prepared. We develop a profound understanding of the ocean's strength and capricious nature. From this information is not only vital for those navigating the sea, but for those residing in coastal regions. Worst disasters 2023, I'd just like to mention these. The Turkey and Syria earthquake in February, where 9 people were affected and 3 million people were displaced. The China flood, which caused $3.2 billion in economic loss. The earthquake in Afghanistan in October caused 114,000 homeless people. Bolivia wildfire in November, where 3 million hectares of land were burned, caused widespread damage to biodiversity. These are the issues that can be caused due to natural disaster. Feelings become intense and sometimes unpredictable. Irritability, mood swings, anxiety, and depression are becoming manifestation of this flashback. Repeated vivid memories of the event that led to physical reactions such as rapid heartbeat or sweating. Confusion or difficulty in making decisions. Sleeping or eating issue. Fear that the emotional event will be repeated. A change in interpersonal relationship skills such as increasing conflict with more withdrawal and avoidant personality. What are some qualities of a good friend? People who masquerade as positives. There are two types of people. The first type is the people who masquerade as positives. The word are cheery, they tell you what you think you want to hear. A good friend will criticize you on your face with good intentions for you. They will, however, not criticize you in front of others. They will also balance their criticism by highlighting and appreciating your positive aspects. If they are too critical all the time, then they know they dislike you. It's like a pointless banter. They are like family because you open up to them. You show parts of yourself that are hidden from acquaintances or strangers. You choose to trust them, confide in them, and be real in them. There are people, places, and things that make me feel like I'm building my energy stores. They rejuvenate me and they help me do my best work. Likewise, there are people and places that zap my energy, that leave me exhausted and make me feel as though I've wasted my time and energy and my day without getting anything useful done. People who can hear what you are saying without you saying it, who seem to listen to you with both their bodies and ears, who exude a positive radiance without necessarily saying or doing anything. Oh, this was also what is your favorite TV show? I believe that was in theme one, but I wrote another one. It's a show called Doctor Who. I hardly ever watch TV as I tend to bore me and sometimes enervate me for the rest of the day since I get lost in the details and get bored by similar plotline. But there's one show that I have grown particularly fond of and it's called Doctor Who. It's always exciting when a new doctor enters the TARDIS. It gives a show a new start to work with from a new sense of energy, and it snaps a new outfit for the doctor to wear. From the beginning of time to the end of the universe, he can travel anywhere in time and space. The show's dizzying sense of diversity, which blends genres. In my opinion, it's one of the best selling points. While this may sound chaotic, it's what makes the show special. There are distinct versions of the same characters that have been altered through style, comedy, and look character, but is still able to access his memories. Even though the doctor is the same person, each actor is able to inject their personality and flair into the program, maintaining the show's coherence. That's it. I'll meet you again for theme 3.